Conoclinium coelestinum, or Mistflower. Looking here, very misty. Doesn't it? It's almost hard. It's like, oh, it's just a mist of flower there. Yes, indeed. So we're going to look at whether Conoclinium coelestinum makes a good cut flower. So a cut flower is, of course, a flower that you cut from your yard or your garden, and then you bring it inside and put it in a vase. And so giving away the answer right now, I think it is. Yeah, I think Mistflower makes a really good cut flower. But that is subjective. So let me walk you through my thinking here. So a good cut flower has a good look, a strong stem, a long stem, a lovely smell, and a long-lasting vase life. And so the question then is, how does Mistflower stack up here, right? And so for the good look, well, yeah, I mean, we're looking at the same flower, right? Yeah, it's a good-looking flower. Strong stem, I wrote somewhat. I mean, it's a little bit thinner of a stem, but it certainly holds up the plant. A long stem, sure, they can be anywhere from 1 to 3 feet tall, so that fits. Fragrance, no, not really known for being smelly. And so for the long-lasting vase life, well, that's a bit of a mystery. I don't know. So we're going to look at that today in this not particularly scientific experiment. I'm going to cut some of these Mistflowers that you're looking at right now. Cut, put them in a vase, put them on a table in a brightly lit room, not in direct sunlight, and see what happens. So this is 15 minutes after I cut them, and they are sort of wilting over, right? The flowers themselves look nice, and you can see there's some buds there, but the stems are sort of flopping a little bit, right? So this is not a good start. Not a good start at all. And every day, I also give the vase fresh water. Okay, so this is 2 hours after it was cut. And I came back and was like, now wait a minute here. Hold on a tick. It looks to have uprighted itself a bit. The stems that were sort of flopping over are kind of facing upwards again, right? You can even see the bend in the stem where they're now coming back up. So that was really unexpected. So now I'm thinking, well, maybe Mistflower will be a good cut flower. And the leaves here are looking green in their characteristic Mistflower shape and look. So this is 1 day in. So they were cut 1 day ago. Oh, well, these look great. So a little bit of time of a wilt and then they perk right up, don't they? So pretty sweet. The buds look nice. The leaves look nice and green with their bluntly toothed edges. The flowers are looking misty and lovely. And I do give a lot of close-up zoom-ins on those flowers because it's such a neat-looking flower, which I say that about almost every native flower. I know. But they are neat. Okay, so 1 day of a cut flower, giving it a thumbs up. So this is 2 days now. 2 days of being in a vase, and it still looks pretty good, right? I mean, the leaves are still green and not looking crispy. The flowers are still their nice misty purple look. The stems are still upright. And you can see kind of what I was saying here. The stems are not particularly thick. I'm thinking of like when you go to a flower shop and you buy like roses or carnations even, those like thick stems. And these really aren't that, but they are holding up. And in fact, they came back up after falling over. So these probably are stronger stems than I originally gave them credit for. So 3 days in, still looking good. And if the flower arrangement looks a little different, again, it's because I pull them out every day, put fresh water in, and then re-put them in. So they get modified a little every day in the vase. But anyways, these flowers, I mean, everything is still looking good to me. The flowers are still looking misty and fine. Am I going crazy, or are some of those buds opening a little bit? I think some of the buds are opening a little bit, which is cool. And the flowers that were already open are still looking fine. I mean, nothing's turning brown. Everything is still upright. Nothing is majorly drooping. So I would say I lost this footage at day 4, but I didn't. I just never took it because that's life sometimes. So enjoy this picture for a minute. Okay, 5 days in, and oh, these still look great. I mean, I still think these look great, right? The leaves are still nice and green. Nothing is really flopping over. I guess some of the flowers, when you look at them closely, they still look kind of misty, but some of them are looking a little worn. But they're not brown and gross, right? And definitely some of those buds opened. So that's a neat thing. Not all flower buds will do that when you put them in a vase. And it looks like some of these open. So that's cool. So 6 days after, again, just didn't take any video. So it's lost to the memories of time, I suppose. 7 days in, though. Looks like it didn't really matter that we didn't have a video at 6 days because this still looks fine. Everything still looks perky and upright. The leaves still look green. Now these flowers though, so they still look misty, right? But as you can see, it looks like they're starting to go to seed. And so their color really hasn't changed all that much. So some of these things that were buds and started to flower are maybe, I don't know, they're okay. They're not amazing. They're okay, not amazing. But some of these are definitely going to seed. Do you see that? Like the flowers are starting to look a little more dry. Like it, to me, as a whole cut flower, it still looks fine. But some of the flowers are looking a little dry, and it almost looks like if you take them off, you could blow them away on the wind. Poof. And that is, in fact, what's happening, which is also cool. Not all cut flowers will do that. Some just turn brown and wilt and die. These ones, I can see on the lower stems there, some of those are wilted over. Okay, so at 7 days, we've got some that you would cut off or remove, but a lot of them still look fine. Okay, 8 days. Okay, we got a lot of flowers now that are starting to flop over here. Some of the leaves are getting droopy now. These have definitely gone to seed. So that's cool. Here, I've just picked them off, and you can see some of the seeds in my hands. So I could throw those outside, and they would probably grow next year. Which is something cool you can do with native plants that are cut flowers. You can just throw them back out in your yard wherever you cut them from to begin with. And the insects and pollinators will still use the dead plant body. Anyways, yeah, probably most people at 8 days would think this doesn't look very nice anymore. For the sake of our scientific experiment, obviously we're going to go longer. Oh dear, 9 days. Okay, so you know, some of those leaves are still at the bottom looking green and nice, but sure, I'm not blind. This is no longer a nice looking vase flower. And definitely, yeah, these are seeds now. I mean, you can take these off and scatter these somewhere and grow a mistflower next year. So that's awesome. As a cut flower, you got to see some buds open and you got to see it go to seed. And then as it goes to seed, a lot of those are still looking puffy and purple, which is really pretty. And then 10 days in, well, only somebody running a scientific experiment or somebody who's just lazy and doesn't care. Those are the only two people who are leaving these flowers in this vase. Or people who are overwhelmed with other things to do in their life, and this would sit on a table for 2 months. That happens too. Okay, so Conoclinium coelestinum, I say, makes a really good cut flower. That thing lasted, we could give it a week, right? So again, here's our qualities of a good cut flower. Mistflower has a good look. I am changing my strong stem from a maybe to a yes. Long stem, yes. The smell or a fragrance, still a no, which in my opinion is a positive thing. And then the long-lasting vase life, I said 7 to 8 days because that seemed to be around where I was like, okay. So that's pretty great for a cut flower to last a whole week and look really cool. And if you got like 2 or 3 times as many as I had there and really bunched them up, man, that would look really, really nice. Primo. So again, we're giving Mistflower a thumbs up on being a cut flower. I think it's great. And because Mistflower, as you can see in the background here, they can be prolific. You can get a lot of them. And so you can cut a lot of them to get a really nice flower. And it's not like you're losing the only 1 or 2 flowers that it makes. It makes a ton. So it's an easy one to cut a bunch. They last a week. This is really great. So plant native mist flower and cut native mist flower and put it in a vase. It's awesome.